This presentation is about vocational training. Uh, Note before on work, any honest work is a good work, and you should never be ashamed of any type of work as long as it's an honest work. So, if you are a non-skilled worker, I was a non-skilled worker for 12 years. I look back and I am very proud of what I did. I supported my family and myself and didn't use anyone. And I, of course, provided service for my employers at the time. So that's before we start, we have to emphasize this: no shame in any type of honest work. Uh, This presentation is based on my conversation with my friend who told me that her daughter is not interested in going to college. And the funny thing is that when I was in her daughter age, I believed the same thing. I had the same views, I guess, uh, because she believed that it's too expensive, uh, and she cannot get a good enough paying job. I believed it was too expensive. I also had low self-esteem, which and I was broke. I was completely a young individual with no family support. So, uh, however, we have to emphasize that my friend does not work minimum wage in the laundry. I believe in some kind of hotel or something like that. Uh, and so, is she right in her view about college? Uh, and are there any other alternatives? And we're gonna talk more about the alternatives. If she's right, that's an open-ended question. I don't think that she's right, but it is debatable. Depends what subject you study in school. But there'll always be alternative, and I wish I used those alternative when I was younger. So the alternative I I discussed it with my friend and I'm discussing now is vocational training. You know, my suggestion for my friend was to maybe such to do vocational training, and vocational training be a great thing for whatever reason, whether you are young or you find yourself without a job. Let's say you are a chemist, you work in a small town, the plant that you work in closed, or you lost your job, you have a house, you can't move. Vocational training might be helpful. Maybe there is a hospital nearby, a dialysis center, a company that do welding. Vocational training can be helpful for even older individual, but more so for younger individual with no uh, who want to start their professional lives, who want to get enough money to be able to live. I mean, it's sad to say that I live in North America, and it used to be you would be able to live on a minimum wage if you follow a budget, but I think nowadays you can't even do that unless you get assistant, which is even that becoming hard to come by. So vocational training is definitely a very good tool in for your success in life and should not be overlooked. You don't have to do it, but you should think about it. Okay, so another reason why vocational training uh, is good, it's often cheaper and it's faster. Usually 4 months to 2 years, and 2 years meaning like you go to a community college. But for the sake of this presentation, we're gonna talk about true vocational schools. They go from 4 months to 1 year. Those schools that only give you a certificate or a certificate or a license, and they don't care about all the other fluff that you have to take. Uh, However, we have to emphasize, like any training, You need to be smart about what type of vocational school. For example, if you do the online vocational train schools, and often you are bombarded by them, like becoming, they might cost as much as a community college or slightly less, but definitely cheaper than your local vocational schooling. And of course, online programs come handy if you live in an area where you don't have resources or with your schedule is so don't work. However, you still have to be like any schooling, you have to be very careful. And one way to be careful to make sure is to make sure you have training, on the job training. They should offer, if especially if they are online school, they should offer an on job training, and they should offer you the opportunity to uh, to get a license. Uh, many true vocational school will not want you to take extra classes. We covered that, and that is something you should look into if you want to do just vocational school. You just want to go to work. You don't want to use those classes for something else. Why waste your money and time and go take like a year in a community college that's all general classes? I mean, there's benefit for that if you want to go on or move on, or you want the college experience, of course, and it might help you with your job. But when it comes to vocational work, you don't need to waste your time. That's my opinion. Uh, there are so much options and fields when it comes to vocational training. So you can do medical fields, you can become a pharmacy tech, you can become a sterilize technician, even surgery tech. You can become, you can become um, you know, medication aid. All these things. You can do industrial, you can do welding, you can do and especially if you do those industrial ones and medical ones, you really need to find a good vocational school. Transportation, of course, you can work drive a truck or heavy equipment operation. Uh, those also lead to licensing, and they don't mind if you have like criminal record, or if you made a few mistakes in your life and you want to start back in the workforce. Uh, of course, with vocational training, one of the benefits is you can start earning fast. I remember I guess my first vocational training didn't come from a vocational school, it came from on the job training. They offered me to MIG weld, and this was in the 90s. And I MIG welded and I made $11 an hour. Mind you, at that time, minimum wage was five. So, so I made a big amount of money. Indeed, it allowed me to reduce my hours at my second job to almost 1 day or 2 days a week. So, so vocational training can allow you to earn money fast. Uh, uh, okay, and of course, this is the goal. For me, what I see, good vocational training versus bad vocational training. That training should either lead to licensing or uh, or certification that are needed for work, or that training school should have a good reputation in your local area, so people can always pick you up, because they know that you finished that school. So, but like a school that give you, the schooling that will lead you to be licensed is definitely a good sign. So the summary, uh, so vocational training is a good way to help you into the professional work, very fast way. It's cheaper and faster than traditional, like college, or uh, it offers you many choices. I said any here, but many choices. And uh, and you are often going to make more money than a non uh, trained individual, or individual with the wrong training. For example, I know some people who went to like studied history and they didn't want to be a teacher. So and teaching actually is a licensing, so it is a training. And so they end up working, as a front desk person. You know, that education, I won't say was not of a value, but monetarily, it didn't. They didn't gain out of it. So just remember, you always have a choice of what kind of. You have always have some choice of what kind of training you need to do in the future to gain a better job. And there are other reasons why you succeed at work. The work ethic is one of them, the main thing. And of course, if you have friends and family, that can definitely be helpful. But not all of us have those luxuries. I hope this presentation was helpful and you guys have a wonderful day.